The first thing he noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind. Not the kind that comes after rain. Or the quiet of a village at dawn. No. This silence felt wrong. Heavy. Like the world itself had stopped breathing. He stepped outside his hut, barefoot, confused, calling out a name he had called every morning for the past 10 years. Amara. No answer. He frowned. That wasn't normal. Amara always answered. Always. He walked a little further, his voice louder now. Amara. Still nothing. That's when he realized. There were no footsteps. No cooking fires. No voices. No children. No animals. Nothing. Just him. Alone. In a village that had been full of life, just a few hours ago. This is the story of the night an entire village vanished. And the one man who was left behind to remember it. The village of Obioma was not a place that went unnoticed. It was alive. Always alive. From sunrise to sunset, the air was filled with laughter, arguments, songs, and the rhythmic pounding of mortar against yam. Children ran barefoot through dusty paths, chasing each other with reckless joy. Women gathered by the stream, their voices rising in gossip and laughter. Men returned from the fields with tired shoulders but proud smiles. And at the center of it all was Chaik. A quiet man. Not the strongest. Not the richest. But dependable. The kind of man people trusted without needing a reason. Every morning, before the sun stretched across the sky, Chaik would wake to the soft voice of his wife. Get up, you'll be late again. Amara. She was warmth in human form. Gentle eyes. A laugh that made even strangers feel like they belonged. She balanced Chaik in ways he never fully understood. Where he was quiet, she was lively. Where he hesitated, she moved. And somehow, they fit. Perfectly. They had no children yet. But they had hope. And in a village like Obioma, hope was enough. That night started like any other. There was no storm. No warning. No strange visitor. Nothing to suggest that it would be the last normal night anyone would ever see. The moon hung low, casting a pale glow over the village. Fires dimmed. Voices softened. One by one, the huts went dark. Inside their home, Amara lay beside Chaik, tracing invisible patterns on his arm. You've been quiet today, she said softly. Chaik sighed. I just feel uneasy. She laughed lightly. You always feel uneasy when the weather changes. It's not that. He turned to her. It feels like something is coming. Amara studied his face, then smiled. Then we'll face it together. She rested her head on his chest. And for a moment, the unease faded. Chaik wrapped his arm around her. Listening to her breathing slow. Listening to the familiar rhythm of the night. Crickets. Distant rustling. The quiet hum of life. Normal. Safe. Alive. Sometime deep in the night, Chaik woke up. Suddenly. No dream. No sound. Just awake. His eyes adjusted to the darkness. Something felt off. He sat up slowly. The air was cold. Too cold. And then he noticed. Amara was no longer beside him. Amara. He reached out. Nothing. He frowned, assuming she had stepped outside. But then. A sound. Not loud. Not clear. Just a faint, distant echo. Like a whisper carried by the wind. Chaik stood. His heart beginning to pound. He stepped outside. And that's when he saw it. The entire village, bathed in an unnatural stillness. No fires, no movement. Even the trees seemed frozen. "Hello," he called. No answer. Then, a shadow moved. At the far end of the village. Quick. Too quick. Chike's breath caught. "Who's there?" Silence. Then another movement. Closer this time. But when he turned, nothing. His chest tightened. Instinct screamed at him to go back inside. To hide. To pretend he saw nothing. But Amara was out there. And he couldn't leave her. He moved from hut to hut. Calling. Knocking. Pushing doors open. "Amara. Anyone." But every hut he entered was empty. Sleeping mats, untouched. Cooking pots, still warm. Clothes, scattered as if people had just vanished midlife. One hut still had a pot over fire. The food inside burned slowly, forgotten. Chike's hands began to shake. This wasn't normal. This wasn't possible. People don't just disappear. Not like this. Not all at once. Then he found something that made his stomach drop. Footprints. Dozens of them. Leading out of the village. All in the same direction. Chike stood frozen, staring at the trail. Every instinct told him not to follow. But every part of his heart screamed one name. Amara. He took a step forward. Then another. Into the darkness beyond the village. Unaware that he was about to discover something far worse than disappearance. Something no one was ever meant to see. Chike didn't think anymore. He just followed. Step after step. Into the narrow path leading away from the village. The footprints were everywhere. Hundreds of them. Men. Women. Children. All walking in the same direction. Not running. Not scattered. Just walking. Like they were called. Like they had no choice. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. Even the insects had stopped. No crickets. No wind. No life. Only the sound of his breathing. And the soft crunch of earth beneath his feet. Then, he saw something on the ground. A piece of cloth. He froze. Slowly bending down, his fingers trembling as he picked it up. He knew it instantly. Amara's. Amara, his voice cracked. He looked around wildly. Amara. His voice echoed. But something about the echo felt wrong. It didn't fade naturally. It lingered. Like the forest was holding on to it. Then, a sound. Soft. Low. Like a hum. Chike turned sharply. It was coming from deeper within the forest. A strange, synchronized sound. Not quite voices. Not quite wind. But something in between. He hesitated. Every instinct screamed at him to run. To go back. To pretend none of this was real. But then he looked at the cloth in his hand. And kept walking. The trees opened suddenly. And Chike stepped into a clearing. At first, he didn't understand what he was seeing. Shapes. Dozens of them. Standing. Still. Facing the same direction. His heart began to pound. Slowly, he stepped closer. And then, his breath caught. It was them. The villagers. Every single one. Men. Women. Children. Standing in perfect silence. Their backs to him. Unmoving. Unblinking. Unnatural. "Hello," he whispered. No one responded. He took another step. "Can you hear me?" Nothing. Then, with shaking hands, he reached out and touched the nearest person. The moment his hand touched the man's shoulder, the body collapsed, lifeless, like something had been holding it up, and suddenly let go. Chuck stumbled back in horror. "No, no, no." He rushed forward, grabbing another person. Same thing. They fell, one after another. As he touched them, they dropped, like empty shells. Like whatever made them human was gone. His chest tightened. His breathing broke. Tears filled his eyes. This isn't real. Then slowly, he turned one of the bodies over. And what he saw broke something inside him forever. The eyes, wide open, but empty. Completely empty. No life. No soul. Just void. Chuck fell to his knees, surrounded by bodies. His people. His neighbors. His world. Gone. Not taken. Not killed. But emptied. Like something had come in the night and taken what mattered most, leaving behind only what it didn't need. His voice broke into sobs. Why? Why them? Why not me? And then, the humming returned. Louder this time. Closer. Right behind him. Chuck froze. Slowly, he turned his head. And there, just beyond the trees, something moved. Not human. Too tall. Too still. Watching. Waiting. His heart nearly stopped. Because in that moment, he understood. Whatever took them was still here. And it had been watching him the entire time. Chuck couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Because the thing in the forest took a step forward. And for the first time, it made a sound. Not a growl. Not a scream. But something far worse. It spoke. In a voice that didn't belong to this world. And it said only one word. Stay. The voice didn't echo. It didn't fade. It settled inside him. Like it wasn't heard with ears, but carved directly into his mind. Chuck's body locked. Every muscle froze. His knees pressed into the cold earth, but he couldn't move. Couldn't run. Couldn't even scream. The thing stepped closer. Still hidden. But closer. The air grew heavier with each step. Harder to breathe. Harder to think. And then, images flooded his mind. At first, Chuck thought they were his memories. But they weren't. He saw the village. Long before he was born. The same land. The same trees. But different people. Different faces. And fear. So much fear. They stood in the same clearing. Crying. Begging. Offering something. No. Offering someone. One person. Given, in exchange. Then the images shifted. Again. And again. Generations. Repeating. The same ritual. The same night. The same bargain. And suddenly, Chuck understood. This wasn't random. This wasn't new. This had always been happening. The village was never safe. It was protected. Protected by a secret no one spoke of. A sacrifice. One life. To spare the rest. But something had gone wrong. Terribly wrong. Chaik's breath trembled. No, no, no. And then, one final memory forced its way into his mind. Clearer than the rest. Closer. More recent. It was from just hours ago. That night, the village elders gathered in secret, whispering, arguing, panicking. The time has come. But who? We have no choice. And then, a name. His name. Chaik. His heart shattered. No. But then another voice cut through. Firm. Desperate. Not him. Amara. She stepped forward. I will go. The elders protested. But she didn't hesitate. If no one is given, everyone will be taken. Tears streamed down her face. But if one must go. She swallowed hard. Let it be me. Chaik collapsed forward, screaming. But no sound came out. He could only watch. Forced to relive it. Amara walking alone. Into the forest. Not running. Not resisting. Just accepting. For him. For everyone. She reached the clearing. And the darkness came. Swallowing her whole. And then. Silence. The vision stopped. Chaik gasped. Finally able to breathe again. Tears poured down his face. She chose. The thing stepped closer. And though he still couldn't fully see it, he understood it. It didn't take randomly. It followed the rule. One for many. But this time, something had changed. The voice returned. Inside him. You were chosen. A pause. Then. You were given. Chaik's chest tightened. No. Another pause. Longer this time. He refused. Chaik's mind broke trying to understand. Refused. Who refused? And then it hit him. Him. Chaik. Deep down. Somewhere in his soul. He had resisted. Even in sleep. Even without knowing. He had rejected the exchange. And because of that, the balance broke. The voice grew colder. Hearts must agree. Yours did not. Chaik shook his head violently. I didn't know. I didn't know. Silence. Then. That is why. A long pause. Every second heavier than the last. They are gone. Chaik's scream tore through the forest. This time, it came out. Raw. Broken. Endless. Chaik collapsed into the dirt. Empty. Destroyed. Take me, he whispered. Please, take me instead. Silence. Then the voice returned one last time. No. A pause. You will remember. Cold. Final. You will remain. Morning came. Just like before. Soft light. Quiet air. But now. It was real. The village stood empty. Forever. Chaik walked through it slowly. Touching doors. Looking into huts. Calling names he knew would never answer. Amara. His voice barely existed anymore. Days passed. Then weeks. Then months. No one came. No one found the village. No one knew what happened. Because Chaik never left. He couldn't. Every night, when the darkness returned, he heard it. That same voice. Watching. Waiting. And reminding him that he was alive. not as a gift, but as punishment. And in the end, the cruelest fate was not death. It was being the only one left behind, to remember everyone you failed to save. If you enjoy African stories, folklore, myths, and legendary tales, this channel is for you. Subscribe to African Savannah Tales for new African folktales and storytelling videos every week, and explore the wisdom, mystery, and magic of Africa's timeless stories.